Okay, I had a wicked question on the video that I posted up last night of me and working out and talking about why we drop a deadlift. Okay, I think the name was like 71 Poison or something like that on YouTube. He also mentioned something about how his coach or trainer makes him set the weight down gently for a controlled workout. I'm going to dispel a myth about that. Okay, number one, go look at any Olympic lifter. I don't care what kind of weight that they're lifting, they never set the weight down, okay, ever. They take it from up here and they just let it fly. They take it from a clean and they just let it drop. Okay, there's a reason for it. I want you to take a look at a few different things. Number one thing, don't go trashing somebody's gym equipment unless you have proper bumper plates or at least rubber plates. Don't be dropping deadlifts, okay? You're gonna bend bars, chip rubber floors, and you're gonna have somebody kick you out of your gym. So I just so happen to have a bumper plate, okay? The first thing to notice is it's pretty thick. Okay, it looks like it should weigh about 100 pounds, but it's actually only 45, okay? So what it is, they got a metal ring in here, but everything is rubber. So if I compare it to the circumference of a regular plate, it's exactly the same. The only difference is that this is metal and about 40% of the size. So they both weigh 45 pounds, but it's important. Bumpers are always much thicker. That's how you know that they're rubber, okay? Or only purely rubber. Now I have also rubber 45 plates, okay? And essentially what this is this is iron or steel, whatever's in here, and it's just covered in a rubber covering. So it has this ridge here that at least has some bounce to it, okay? If I take a plate and I bounce, the only reason why it's bouncing is because of the floor. But you hear the sound, right? It's like a baseball bat, an aluminum baseball bat. If you go and hit the ball, it kind of rings down into your hands, which is why they put rubber on the handle. So, number one rule, don't be dropping deadlifts and ruining equipment unless you hopefully have a bumper plate. They're not overly expensive, they'll last forever. Go buy a pair. You only really need 145, and then you can use a bunch of 35s or whatever else. Or at the very minimum, at least a rubber encased plate. Okay, don't be using metal plates and dropping deadlifts unless you're in a powerlifting gym and they're okay with that. I'm going to show you the difference and why and how I'm dropping it. I want you to watch the waistband of my pant, okay? And I'm going to tell you why. The number one reason you do not gently or controlled set down a deadlift, okay? A good reason for not doing it anyway, is because there's not much benefit to the eccentric or lowering phase of a deadlift. There's very, very little benefit to it. There's also a very high risk of pulling the lower back. If I'm doing a deadlift and I lift it properly on the way up, worst case scenario, as long as I did it properly, was I just can't get it up, so I just let it go. On the way down, if I go down and I go away from my body, maybe I have a tweak in my back, it's gonna snag it further. So when I pull up and let go, I have a lot less lower back risk, okay? So there's no reason to set down a deadlift, especially if you have bumper plates, okay? The only one reason I can think of, and I do this with people, is to teach them when you're doing like 3s and 5s on the deadlift as far as reps go. If I have to get into this deadlift, and so I'll show you traditional, it takes me a lot of energy to posture the exercise. So if I get up here and I want to do 5 sets of 5 or whatever, and I let it go, all of a sudden I have to rebuild all of that energy. That's completely exhausting to do. And most likely when you're tired, you're going to lift really crappy anyway. So I agree that setting it down in a controlled manner is okay, but the last 2 inches, or once you've cleared your kneecap, don't be gently setting a weight down. That's where you're going to hurt your back. So watch the waistband of my pant. I can keep sliding my ass back, or hip hinging as we like to call it. I can keep sliding that back until till I get about there, okay? But if you look at that deadlift, that bar, and where I am, for most people this is where their flexibility is. I have another 2 inches to go, okay? Watch what happens in my lower back on those last 2 inches. I've got glutes, hamstrings, glutes, hamstrings, glute hamstring, and all of a sudden the rest of this motion came from my lower back, okay? Nothing else came from my hips. Therefore, the greatest risk in a deadlift, as far as hurting your lower back, is the last 2 inches on the way down, assuming you lifted properly in the first place. So, if you don't want to set it down, or if you're actually using metal plates, once you clear your kneecap, drop, okay? It allows you to still keep that good posture on the way down, instead of having to rebuild it all, but I'm not going to destroy my lower back. You saw I didn't have to rebuild my posture every single rep because I didn't fully let it go. It's great. It's awesome for the posture, it feels really good, but I'm not using a maximum amount of weight. When you're lifting for max reps, like right now I'm chasing a personal record, when it comes down to that, again, there's very little reward to doing the negative phase of a deadlift. Okay, so that may be upper back growth. So if you have bumper plates, if you have rubber plates, don't do it all the time, but try giving it a go where you let go at the top. Okay, you're just going to hurt your back a lot less than that. So any more questions, guys, I totally appreciate. Throw it up on the YouTube and I'll do a video for you. Thanks.